Contact us. Tonight's first guest speaker is a gentleman by the name of Art Binder. Art is the proprietor and owner of a 3D archery range in Calverton, New York. It's called Thrill of the Hunt. I'm really happy to have him down here. I appreciate him coming out, braving the weather, and the impending storm coming. So without further ado, I'll invite Art down. Nice to meet you, Art.
Nice to meet you, Christian. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Have a seat. Again, Art, I really appreciate you coming down tonight. It's certainly something that is good for our members. We want to, meet the proprietors of people who are offering services and products for the hunting community. So again, hopefully our members will be watching this show and be able to come down and check your place out.
Well, I think if they do, they'll be tremendously, enthusiastic about it and really enjoy the opportunity.
Oh, that's great.
Tell them to bring at least 6 arrows.
I'm looking forward to coming down myself, absolutely. Before we get into your business itself, I'm sure our viewers are interested, and I'm interested, in essentially how you came about getting involved in hunting, or for that matter, getting involved in archery. Are you a hunter?
Well, I am for the last 4 years.
Okay, so tell me about that.
Okay, I trained horses in that building. It's a 10,000 square foot arena, former horse training arena. And you can't ride horses for your entire life. Came a point where I couldn't do it any longer. Now here I had this 10,000 square foot arena, dirt floor, very large building, and I started to try and figure out options for it. A friend of my son's told me there was a 3D shoot scheduled at Peconic Sportsman.
Sure.
And I didn't have a clue. This is in early 2010.
Okay.
I didn't have a clue what 3D archery was.
Right.
But I went down there.
Were you an archer before that? Okay.
No. Or a hunter, strictly riding horses.
All right.
So I went down there and I hooked up with a bunch of guys that were walking the course through the woods. And boy, everybody was having a marvelous time.
Right.
I mean, it was a great day. And from there, 9 months later, Thrill of the Hunt was born.
So hook, line, and sinker.
Hook, line, and sinker. I mean, it was an incredible adventure along the way.
Right. And I imagine just the experience that you had that day is what basically drove your passion for it?
Well, it was the camaraderie, it was the archery, it was everything. It was a whole package. It was the guys, their attitudes towards the sport, towards hunting, towards archery, and towards each other. And I figured, this might be something. And it has. It's developed into a camaraderie of, we have over 700 registered shooters in the first 3 years.
Wow.
And a lot of repeat business. And it's the most amazing $30 you can spend in an afternoon.
Is this something that is full-time for you? Is this a part-time job? Is it a full-time job?
My business, I was in the graphic arts business, and I retired in 1989.
Okay. Came
Came out to Calverton. We had 10 acres. We were training horses, our own horses, and we're showing them around the country. And nothing lasts forever. Right. And I feel like I've been reborn. This is something that if you would have told me 5 years ago I'd be doing this, I wouldn't have known what you were talking about.
So this is something that you're doing full-time now? It takes up all your time?
Just about.
That's great that you said you feel reborn. Growing up, my father always told me, when I was trying to find out what I wanted to do in life and so forth, he said, Christian, you're a very lucky guy if you find a passion. And
you'll never work a day in your life.
That's right. You never work a day in your life. Pursue your passion. Chances are, if you have a passion, you'll spend a lot of time at that passion, and in doing so, you end up being good at it. And then in being good at it, a byproduct is most likely you'll be able to make a living doing
exactly.
it. And if you're able to follow that path, you're a lucky man.
Your father's a wise man.
So, well, obviously you're a wise man too, so good for you. All right, so let's talk a little bit about your business.
Okay, fine.
So it's called Thrill of the Hunt.
It's called Thrill of the Hunt.
Right, and I see you brought down some brochures for us.
Yes.
Thrill of the Hunt here. And where is it located?
It's located on Deep Hole Road in Calverton, New York.
Okay.
2 minutes from Tanger Mall from Splish Splash. It's right at the end of the Long Island Expressway.
All right.
Like I said earlier, it's 10,000 square foot, freestanding building. We've got 5 ground stations, color-coded, red, white, blue, green, and yellow.
Okay.
There are 6 3D targets at various yardages on each station.
Okay.
6 times 5, 30 targets. We have a tuning lane from 10 yards out to 35 yards.
Is that like a warm-up
Exactly.
area?
It's for people to make sure either their pins are set correctly, their arrows are hitting where they intend them to hit,
Right.
to make adjustments before they go onto the 3D course. And it's a scoring game. The high score to date on the course is 324. It's held by Rick Kiley from Ridge.
Okay. I've seen Rick's name.
Rick is very active in the bow hunting community.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's got, I believe, 12 popes hanging on a wall in his home.
Right.
He's a marvelous paper shooter and an incredible 3D shooter.
And he holds the record there.
Yeah, and it's going to be tough to beat.
Now, are these shots, are they all ground level shots? Are they elevated shots? Are
Well,
they varying elevations? What's the story of that?
It's interesting you ask about that. When I started to develop this, the arena was perfectly flat. And you're training horses in there, and these were cutting horses, and they're very physical. You needed a perfectly flat, nice and deep sand arena.
Right.
Well, for this, I wanted this to be as realistic as possible. So the first thing we did was bring in a backhoe and
Okay.
dig up this arena
Right.
to it's a curvy roundabout, hills and dales, and
So it's like a pasture?
no, it's like the woods.
Okay.
When you walk into Thrill of the Hunt, there's a big sign that says, "Welcome to the woods, welcome to our world, welcome to Thrill of the Hunt."
Should I bring a compass when I go?
People walk in there and it's the first thing out of their mouth, "Oh my God!"
Right, right.
I mean, it's not what most people would expect.
That sounds great. I'm really looking forward to checking
And
it out.
the bow hunt is, I mean, it's a challenge. If you love to bow hunt and if you love archery, it's a combination that's, it just happened.
Right.
I don't know why.
Right.
It just worked out.
The stars were aligned.
Absolutely.
Now, so the topography, it's hills, it's woods. Do you have any stands? Are there actual stands there?
We have a tree stand
Okay.
that we utilize in the bow hunters tournament, which is just prior to the start of Long Island hunting season.
Right.
The tournament starts the first week in August, ends 3 or 4 days before bow hunting season starts, which is October 1. So depending on the calendar, in every tournament we run, we have a Thursday night league and a Sunday morning league. For the
Okay.
guys that can't make Thursday nights, it's a 9-week tournament, and it's priced very fairly, and we have a ball. It's a trophy league.
Right.
Trophies are awarded, and we've had some tremendous response over the years.
Well, you mentioned the time frame of that leading up to the season. I mean,
Right.
that sounds like a fantastic way to get primed for the hunting season, to go down in a competitive fashion. So, your nerves are up and running, your adrenaline is running.
Too many
You're trying
people,
to mimic, what you're going to be seeing out in the woods. It sounds like a fantastic thing to get involved in.
too many archers will take out their bow a week or 2 before hunting season starts,
Right.
shoot 3 arrows into a bale of straw, and they're ready to go.
Right.
That's not what prepares you for a hunt.
No, absolutely.
I know, because when I did it, my first year of hunting,
Right.
I was one of these guys. I didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
I could hit a target, but when I saw a deer, the deer freaked and I freaked. That was my first experience. That was my
I think
first
we've all had that
experience.
experience.
I'm sitting in a
particularly early
blind
on.
because I was fearful of going up in a tree. I
Right.
didn't have a climber
Right.
or any kind of stand. So I'm sitting in a blind. It was about 4:45 in the morning, and I'm not even in the ready position. My bow is in my lap, right, just where it shouldn't be, and I look up out of the hole in the blind, and no more than 10 yards in front of me is a huge doe just coming behind the cedar bush, right?
Right.
It stops, it's looking at me, I'm looking at it, we're both freaked out, right? Maybe 3 or 4 seconds, and she
Yeah.
just bounded off, and I said, what did I just see?
Yeah,
Deer?
yeah, that's how it happens.
That's how it happens.
But what I like about what you were talking about, that it's a trophy league, that it's a competitive league, you know, you're not just prepping for the upcoming hunting season by shooting statically in your backyard. You're involved in an environment that is competitive. And so that, you know, kind of mimics what is happening out in the woods. Not so much that you're competing against anyone, but there's a sense of adrenaline when you're taking a shot. So it's good to practice under those environments.
Stressful,
to mimic.
stressful
Right.
condition, whether it's, see, in our leagues, we create teams.
Okay.
Either two-man teams or three-man teams, depending on the number of shooters that we have. And everybody wants to try and be successful. I mean, everybody who goes into the woods is a competitive individual.
Right.
So people define themselves as hunters and as archers when it comes to accuracy and knowledge of equipment. They move up the scale. I mean, it's incredible how numbers have come up since we opened up.
You've seen progression
Oh,
of archers.
it's incredible.
Wow. So that, I mean,
Incredible.
the proof's in the pudding, as
I
they
mean,
say.
even in me. I mean,
Right.
with everybody.
Right.
It's the first 3D shoot I went to, I shot at 236. Well, I thought that was great. Now guys are shooting regular routine 270 to 300s.
What's the top that you can shoot? What's the top score?
Well, realistically speaking, 300 would be a perfect round.
Okay.
You're shooting 30 targets out to 35 yards
Right.
at different angles. These aren't broadside shots. These are quartering away shots, quartering to you shots, all kinds of different angles, different elevations,
Right.
obstacles. We have trees in there. You have to shoot through 2 and 3 trees to get to one target. Gaps like this. Now,
Right.
true, you're shooting a 244 arrow or something. A foot gap between branches is a lot, but you'd be surprised how many people look at this and they absolutely freak.
Right.
There's no reason to. Don't look at the tree. You're not.
Exactly.
You're
Just
shooting
focus
through-
on.
Focus
right,
on your
right.
target.